You ready, kids?
Aye, Captain.
Right. So we did this diagram, this class diagram. We designed the structure, and we started getting working. So we designed the different classes that extended the drink and so forth. So the drink class could take on the different forms. And here we showed how we could initialize from a text file, depending on. And we also did a bit of problem solving with regards to how we would determine whether it was a drink, an alcohol, or a soft drink. So whether which type of drink it was. So one object taking on different forms. But now the problem is, how do we actually use that data? Because now we've got an array with drinks, and then each one of those drinks could be of different forms. So the next part that we're going to be going through here is actually utilizing this and getting this to work and show what's going on. So one of the first things that we're going to do is just for interest's sake, you'll notice that here the toString takes what the super toString is and adds information onto it. And same thing here, our toString takes what our super toString and adds things onto it, and so forth here. So the first thing we're going to test is we're just going to do create a toString of this class. So we're going to go alt insert, create a toString. We're not going to leave it like that because that's just bollocks. I shouldn't use that word on YouTube. My bad. Apologize profusely.
I apologize profusely. So
bad, George. Email. Anyway, what we're going to do here, you guys know how to do this. I'm not going to go over details of this, but we literally just create a blank string. We loop through our thing. So for tab y is less than num drinks. We then would go s all plus equals to drinks. Now this is an interesting thing, because now every single time we call this toString, I'm just going to put double enter just so there's a line gap between it, and then we'll return s all. Just for interest, we are now going to encounter drinks that are drinks, alcoholic drinks, and soft drinks. So how on earth is this going to deal with it? And to test that, we're just going to quickly create a user interface. I'm just going to create a quick one, call it GUI. And also you guys can do this for your exams with regards to when you need to create a quick interface. I would personally just set layout to border layout. I would add on a swing container panel onto the bottom, and I'll just add a text area to the top. And then all I would do is I would create different buttons in here. I'll put a button in going, okay, sweet. I'll set the layout for this panel to be flow layout, and then this button I'll just say display all. And that way, as soon as you create this, you can just rename this variable to something that will be easy for you to pick up on what is going there on that. So that's object. In your source, then you would just create an instance of your working manager. So here, your drink manager, drinks, semicolon, and in my constructor, I'll initialize my drinks. Drinks is equal to new drink manager, semicolon, and oh, actually, I think it might even be. I just realized I've got normally a habit of calling it something like this. So I might as well stick that here. Drink man. So this is not encouraging at all. Don't do it. Bad.
yes, YouTube.
Now, what we got here is, so we're now going to create a public void display all. Remember, I encourage you guys to create your methods up here and don't code them there, otherwise you have to replicate the parameter if you need to use it again. And on here, we're just going to say txt display.setText to be drinkman dot toString. So we'll get that there. This will allow us to test it. Don't forget to link your button to that method, so that when there is an action event that occurs there, you would be able to invoke this method.
The thumbnail of this video has to be a screenshot of this.
Depending on if I have time, I'll do that. But yeah. The next thing, if we go there, if we run this, you'll see now we'll set this as our main class, which it is. It'll open up on my default screen, which sadly is not the screen. Oh, hello. It's our input type mismatch. Oh, doom. Okay, so troubleshooting, yay. Okay, so here basically SC record here, I'm getting a next int when there is no integer that's happening next. So basically looking like the format of that is incorrect. So let's take a look at the dots that we're working with. Now if I remember correctly, I was creating this under here. which the synchronization still hasn't been sorted out yet, but hopefully it will be soon. So if we take a look at our text file, it goes text int text. Now, so text int text. So use the limiter text int
So did you make the last one as well?
Yeah, we did.
Ah, yes, thank you. Well, good, well spotted there.
Well done.
Yeah, yay.
Ah,
Alright, the issue was spotted there by Liam. The issue with this is we were getting next int when we actually made it so that this 5.5, it was a float. So here I was reading it as incorrect data. I had updated the text there and I changed it there, but I didn't change it here. So this should be a float sugar or alcohol, because we actually don't know what it is, but it could be a float or an integer. So for example, in the case of it, when it's a sugar, it's not a float, and when here it's an integer. So this is now what's interesting, because now we need to change in between or convert between different data types. So hey, I'm teaching you guys stuff I didn't intend to yet, so my bad for overcomplicating this, but my bad. Anyway, so now if it has a next, it's and interestingly enough, here sugar or alcohol, it actually directly is a float inside the add alcohol method. So this here should also be float. But then the problem is it's going to give me another red underline here because my alcohol. And also, interestingly enough, a lot of this is doing it pear-shaped. Because if you take a look here, int alcohol is the first thing it receives through, then warning, then title, then capacity. And here it shouldn't be
we should have just changed the data type in the text file. It would have made everyone's lives a lot easier.
It would have been, but then it wouldn't have been true because that's the percentage of alcohol in a black label.
It knows this extremely well.
Anyway, now moving on from there.
Quotes to by.
Now, so what you'll see there is that I just got the data types incorrect here. But now, what is going to be challenging for us now is the fact that a soft drink shouldn't have that. So we actually need to change it to an int sugar, and we'll need to convert that sugar or alcohol into that. So, funny enough, I have actually no idea how to do this. So what I do is I guess. And what I mean by that is I'll literally go, we want to change from a float to an integer. So I'm assuming that there might be a float.parse float. That's from a string. Okay, interesting. So we can do float.parse float, but I don't want to pass a float, I want to get an integer. So let's just try integer.parse and see if there's a parse from a float variable. No, there's not. Okay, what we can also do is we can do what's called, we can try a math. Math is a function that will allow you to round, for example. So here, there we go. There's a function called math.round, which will round a variable into an integer. So if it is a float that contains it, math.round will allow me to convert it from there to there. You could also, for interest enough, what is the difference between that and if I did this? If I said sugar is equal to sugar or alcohol, and I said, and I did a cast, do you guys recall casting? I know. Okay, casting is basically like me saying, you know, like those old little games that you used to create where there was those little holes, and you shove a triangle into a triangle hole, and you get the triangle into the box because you put the triangle through the triangle hole. Casting is basically you hammering in it. You're basically saying, I don't care if you don't put bam. So when you're trying to put that star into a square, you would just hammer it until it got in. And what this means, when you cast something into a different variable, you're basically saying, this is what you're on. I don't care. You're going to be this. So in this case, if, for example, I did have a variable, a value 5.5, it would just go, bam, you're 5. It would just truncate it, would ignore the rest of the stuff. A casting will literally remove the decimal places, or remove everything. It just will ignore everything. It's like, you are an integer, bam. I don't care who you are. You are in my box. So basically, do you guys get that explanation? Now, in this scenario, would it matter if I did a math.round or an int casting? No, not at all, because we already know it is sugar and it would be an integer anyway, so it doesn't matter. There's never going to be a state where sugar is held as a decimal point. Technically, this would handle it a bit better, but casting you learn a bit late, or we deal with a bit later, or sometimes can help us with problems. And casting is also used a bit later when we need to actually determine whether it's force it into being a alcohol or a sugar or a whatnot. Now, so anyway, from that you can do that either way. I'm going to leave both ways there, because quite frankly it doesn't matter. And this way, at least you can see both ways if you go over this again. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to write there in a comment another way of achieving it is casting, and then casting is below here. Truncates. Do you guys understand the term truncates?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright. Now, so in this case, now let's test if we have fixed this problem. We'll exit this instance that's running, and we'll run a new instance. Oh, failed, data type mismatch. We need to go down to the manager class. Again, it's on this .next int. Oh, I'm still using .next int, not .next float. My bad. Play. Now it is running, and you'll see the video that is there. Display all. Now, wow, look at that.
It worked.
Wow. Okay, we shouldn't be that surprised at work, but the main thing is that you'll notice there that a alcohol uses the to-string of the alcohol. Even though it is because we overrode that method, it will use the child's method of it. Does that make sense? Our drink method, our soft drink method used the child to-string because it was overridden. Even though they're all drinks, it uses the latest to-string. Do you guys get that? So it's pretty nifty, right? So when you override something, it will use the child's version. Even though they're all drinks and using the parent object, they're working with that. Now, moving down from there, I want to show you something that I'm going to undo immediately afterwards, but I just want to show you something that will blow your minds. Okay, maybe not, but it's kind of just blowing your minds. This will still work. Oh, I created the array as not even being a drink array. I created the array as an object array. And the object array is like the grandfather, the granddaddy. That is the most ultimate object. Everything is an object. You create a class. So now literally, I'm sitting here. Yeah, go figure. So now, we're sitting there, and because you've got your object, we're sitting there with a situation where we're initializing everything with children objects. And you can do that. You can literally create an object array and put whatever you want into it. But then the problem is the higher up you are in the hierarchy, the less specific you can be. Because now when I use it, I can't refer to .set title .do this because the object type doesn't realize that. So if I said toString is available from our object type, but for example, if I wanted to create a method now, because toString is available in our grandfather's class. So even though it's using the children's class of that, because it was set up there, I can use it lower down in the hierarchy. But for example, if I wanted to get titles, and I wanted to create a method that will return it should be void here. If I wanted to, string. If I wanted to create a method to get titles, and I would loop through, let's just copy and paste this. So we're doing basically the same thing, but now instead of with toString, we wanted to say .get title. So we didn't want the whole entire toString. You'll see there's no such thing. There's only the methods that are available inside your object that you can access, because it doesn't work like that. Do you guys get that? So what I could do is I could technically cast this into a drink. So I could say, I know you're going to be a drink, so I'm casting you into a drink, and then I would then be able to go, okay, because I've casted you into a drink, I would then be able to go .get title. But then that would mean, here, this is bad programming, because what if the object that I sent through there was a food? A hamburger, yeah. or something like that. Then you're forcefully changing it into a drink when it's not, and then that's when you're trying to hammer in a very weird shape. You try to hammer in a football into a box. I don't know.
A manhole cover into a square hole.
Yeah. Alright, so there's a that kind of stuff is so you actually have to be able to check whether or not it is definitely a drink. And the way you would do that is literally you would go, I'm going to change it back to be, I'm going to delete this method. I'm going to change it back to be drink because I don't want to over confuse you with regards to dealing with an object variable, because generally speaking you wouldn't do that. You would have some form of knowledge of where the base structure is going to be. So I'm going to leave this as being a drink. I just wanted to show you that as an example. But now what if we need to specifically we wanted to create a method to say get alcoholic drinks, so let's get sweet drinks or whatever. So if we wanted to create a button that said where's the button? I want a button, and this button will say edit text display soft drinks. So this will display soft drinks, right? So we only want to display the soft drinks here. So if I go to the source now, I want to create a method saying public void display soft, and now we need to code it into our actual into our manager here. So public get soft, and on this we would do pretty much the exact same thing as we're doing here. There'll be one slight difference, is we would go if open brackets drinks position I instance of a fail is instance of fail on teacher part instance of is instance of it's one word, my bad. Instance not space over an instruction obviously as well. So instance of one word, instance of we were doing soft drinks here, right? Soft. Then enter. So only if it is an instance of that will it return it. Do you guys get that? Now, what? We know what is what. Okay, so now if we had to run this button now, we needed to still remember, don't forget to, I do this too often where I forget to actually link the button to the method. Display soft, sweet, so the button is now an event on that button will now be linked there. So now, we now display all, display everything. If I say display soft, it will display nothing. It will display everything again. Why? Guess what I did in that method? Nothing. Tastes like fresh stuff. Not that you, fresh goes before your guys' time potentially.
Sorry, it's so blurry that it actually gives me a headache. You want that?
So if we now say display soft, will only display soft strings, display all, display all. So
Really
you
cool.
check, you can check you can determine the differences between by using instance of, and that will determine it. As I say, you guys are unlikely, you very, very, very unlikely to have it in your guys' final exam, but you could potentially utilize it for your projects or things like that. And also potentially in theory, you can be asked this kind of stuff. You wouldn't be asked directly how you would determine in Java code, but you'd be asked the concept of polymorphism. So you need to understand this. Mind blowing, yes.
So you have students as your main class, and then grade 12 is your...
If I now, do you guys get this? One other last thing I want to show you is what if we wanted to get, there's a specific method, okay, that's private, we can't use that. What if I wanted to just get all the different warning messages for all drinks? So I wanted to get all warning addresses in public string get all warnings. So this will determine all of the warnings that we want. So how are we going to do this? So again, it will be pretty much the exact same as this, right? Do you guys follow? Except instead of instance of soft, we will check if it's instance of alcohol, right? And if it is, now here, we don't want the toString, we want specifically the method get warning. But now it's not going to have the method get warning because the parent class drink does not have get warning. So we'd have, yes, so we'd have to cast it. So you can do it like this, where you actually create a temporary, just to make it so it looks a bit nice, cleaner. We can go temp is equal to alcohol, and we'll then say drinks. Oh, no, I want drinks. Position I, semicolon, and then I could go s all plus equals temp dot get warning. Okay, so This would then allow me to do, fail. This would then cast it from being a drink. We've already checked that it's an instance of alcohol, so we know that because that casting is not going to lose anything, is it?
Yeah.
It's going to fit into them. So you check before. It's the same thing with regards to in exams and in your guys' projects. You expect it, if you're going to do anything that could potentially go pear-shaped, you expect it to check whether it will not go pear-shaped before you actually do it. Even if it's logically not going to happen, but you've got to realize you've got to handle for any situation. So we make sure before we do. So we're making sure that it is a alcohol before we cast it into an alcohol. Now we move down and we run this. Sorry, I haven't actually coded anything to do anything, so let's quickly code it to do anything. So we're going to create a button to say edit text display all. No, not damn it. This is not display all. What is it? Display warnings. And then in the display warnings, we'll run a method display warnings, and we'll then create the method display warnings. That's not used for warnings. Get all warnings. Okay, so now if I ran this, play, last time we're running it, and this is the end of part 2, display warnings, there we go. Martinis are only for bonds, do not consume when teaching. Okay, so those are the 2 warnings we had, and you notice they were casting, etc. That is it that I need to teach you for polymorphism, end of part 2.
Cheers.